How to install cheap safety pool cover? Let me show you. So let's say you have one of those pools and you do not want to spend 5,000 US dollars on a safety pool cover for it. What are your options? Let me show you. First, very carefully open your safety cover with a razor knife. Make sure not to cut anything because you may damage your cover that is inside in the process, and that would suck. Safety pool cover, also known as a mesh cover, comes with a hardware, stainless steel springs, brass anchors, cover tool, you will need that, anchor tool, and more hardware. First things first, I'm going to unfold this cover some. I need to establish where's the top of the cover and where's the bottom of the cover. Right here you can tell the strap that runs right on top of the cover. The bottom of the cover usually has those rubber or plastic attachments. Let's call them bumpers that protect your cover from rubbing against the coping stone. So once we establish what's the top and what's the bottom, we can move on to step number 2, which is installing stainless steel springs for your cover. Here's the spring. Look, this spring has a profile to it. It could go like this and it could go like that. But this spring needs to be installed just like I'm showing you right here. Once you know where the top of the cover is, which in my case, that's the top, you can see the blue stitches. I run the strap through the buckle. Then I park it right in the middle of the strap. Then I pull the strap. Then I pull the strap right here in the back. And boom. I'm gonna make this a little bit more even. You see that? My strap is the same length as this strap. And it's going nowhere. Let's do 25 more. This pool had previously cover, that was years ago, and there are already deck anchors drilled all around the pool. I don't know how many of those anchors can be reused and how many I will have to drill all brand new from scratch. The only way to find out is I need to pull the cover across the pool. I may use some of the anchors, raise them up, and hopefully I can attach the new cover onto the old anchors. And if not, I have some empty buckets that I can fill with water. And once I have those buckets filled with water, I can use them as my anchors. Okay. All right, let's see if this one in the middle at least fits. Okay, that's good. All right, that's at least possibly this one right here. I'm going to try the one on the opposite side. Let's try this one right here. Cover tool came in a kit. And let's see. Wow. Okay. I have no clue how many more of those old anchors can be reused. Since this cover is not a custom cover, it's way bigger than the pool, so there's no anchors right here. They're all gonna have to be drilled. Lucky for me, I was able to use this old anchor right here and the one in the shallow end. And now what I'm attacking is this bench seat area, because that's the area where it sticks out the most from the form of the entire pool. So I'm barely covering the coping stone right there, which I'm okay with, but I want to definitely cover this coping stone on this side. I know it's not covering the whole brick, but that's okay. Life goes on. You're gonna need a hammer. Something like this. Let's see the one on the other side. Those plastics coming off the springs, they are very annoying. All right, I'm gonna loosen up on the other side. It's a little bit too tight on the other side. And the plastic again. All right, let's see now. Something like that. All right, this is still not quite there. I'm going to adjust this side and pull the cover to cover this entire brick right here. And I know what you're thinking, but you are not covering this right here. I get it. If I have to skip something, it's this side, because this sticks out the most and there's only 3-4 feet of it. I'd rather not cover this one little section over here entirely, but instead cover 40 feet of the coping stone on the opposite side. Cheap cover, you know, you gotta, yeah, sacrifices. Let's see this. Back to this side again. Yes, there's a lot of back and forth adjusting. It's just the beauty of it. Okay. All right, that's what I want. I want to cover the whole coping stone on this side. Typically, the way I like to install safety covers, I like to secure one anchor on each end. Then I would like to secure maybe one on this side, one on the other side, then move on to the other side and do the same thing. Once I have those 3 straps secure and in the place where I like them to be, then I move to the middle of the pool roughly, and I'm start knocking the ones that are on opposite sides right there. So looks like most of the anchors will have to be drilled all brand new, because almost nothing from the old cover matches this cover. What I'm planning to do is pull this cover a little bit this way. Step on it. Install one of those. Hopefully I don't hit the underground PVC. No, I won't. For the time being, I installed a spike right here. Yep, I know it's crooked. Don't worry about it. This is temporary possibly. And I installed 3 temporary right there to hold the cover kind of in place. And what I like to do is go to the opposite side and drill 2 anchors with a Bosch hammer. The drill bit you're going to need is a 3/4 inch. And since I know that this strap is in the middle of the pool, and I'm okay with that, I'm going to drill this one and that one. I think that should be deep enough. Yep. I separated the deck anchor punch, which was also in the kit. You put this inside. That should do it. You put few turns on the deck anchor. And this one is done. I'm going to move on to the one behind me. That should be deep enough. Punch. 1, 2, 3. Usually is enough. Put a few turns on the anchor. And this one, I will have to use the cover tool to put a tension on it. 1, 2, 3 are done. Let's go to the opposite side. Let's see what's happening over there. And I know for a fact I need to drill one right there. Let's do it. Okay. I gotta put more tension on it. Quick update on what is happening. So I have quite a few of them secured over here. Again, some may have to be redone because I'm not sure if they're perfectly straight. That's done, done, done. This corner will be attached to nothing, as you can tell, because it's just way too long. That is the beauty of getting a cover that doesn't fit your poop properly, but that's just the one negative. And I start drilling holes on this side, and I'm going to continue drill a few more over here, and then I'm going to go to the opposite side and install some tubing. I install maybe 2 or 3 on this side, and then I come and I do 2 or 3 on that side. The very last thing to do is the corners. You got to do everything else and do the corners always last. That's at least how I do it. So I'm just going to drill 2 anchors for that corner and move on to the next one. Once I fix the rubber piece again that keeps sliding from the stainless steel spring. All right, let's drill some. 90 minutes later. It turned out as good as I expected. Here's this side. Just so you know, in some areas I used those aluminum tubes. There are 18 inches long. I will attach the link in the description. Here is the only and the biggest drawback of this cover, at least in this case. We ran out of deck space. There's not enough room to install those 2 springs. Some of you may not run into the issue because your pool deck is much bigger, but in this particular case, this corner and 2 anchors could not be installed, and that's the only negative. Here's the bench area, and no, I was not able to cover the brick entirely, because if I covered this brick entirely, that means I would not cover this brick, and that brick is 40 feet long. So I figure if something needs to show, it will be just this area with 4 or 5 feet, which is not terrible. I hope you learned something new. This cover, as I said earlier, was only $500 from Amazon. To make this pool cover custom, it would be between 4 and 5K. Depends on what cover, what type you chose. Thanks for watching, and I see you on the next one.